Local leaders are returning to the drawing board as they try to come up with legislation that would keep sexually violent predators out of neighborhoods. The Assembly Appropriations Committee recently killed a bill authored by a local state senator. CBS 8's Alex Lai spoke with the senator about the measure and what happens next.
There's not much to prevent a sexually violent predator released from prison to be put in a home in a residential community. Once their sentence is complete and they're conditionally released, the Department of State Hospitals allows its vendor, Liberty Healthcare, to place them wherever they see fit.
Their crimes are so heinous, and the sexual crime and violence that they've committed on another human being is so impactful.
A sexually violent predator, or SVP, is someone convicted of a sexually violent offense who has been diagnosed with a mental disorder that makes them likely to offend again. The Sexually Violent Predator Accountability, Fairness, and Enforcement Act, or the SAFE Act, would require public safety to be considered when placing SVPs, and the Department of State Hospitals to approve SVP placements before Liberty Healthcare assigns a placement and signs a lease.
Because right now, what happens is state hospitals just turns them over to Liberty Healthcare and then doesn't pay attention at all to where their placement is being proposed by Liberty Health.
A public records request found it cost more than $450,000 taxpayer dollars to house one sexually violent predator last year. Senate Minority Leader Brian Jones, representing San Diego, introduced the bill in February.
For the Department of State Hospitals to continue to put them into neighborhoods is completely unbelievable and unacceptable.
After making it through the Senate, the SAFE Act was blocked by the Appropriations Committee last week before it was even voted on.
And I truly believe that if the full body of the Assembly was allowed to vote on this, they would vote to approve it.
I spoke with Jeff Grace.
Thinking about
3 years ago, an SVP was close to being placed near his home in Rancho Bernardo.
knowing that the SVP was going to be placed about 300 yards away from our front door, our doors were locked forever. It was going to change our lives and how we lived.
Grace and other families pushed back against the placement decision, and the SVP was housed elsewhere. That's how Keep RB Safe came to be. Last month, the group helped block an SVP who nearly moved in next to a family in Poway.
We can do all we can locally in a very reactive way. What really needs to happen is legislative change in Sacramento.
Meantime, Senator Jones wants more transparency and obtained an audit of Liberty Healthcare. He tells me he expects results in the fall. The SAFE Act cannot move forward this year, but the same measure or something similar will likely be introduced next year. Alex Lai, CBS 8.